make people cry for a living. That's right. I make them cry. I also make them laugh. I make them remember. But most importantly, I make them feel loved. I make them feel good. Because I'm in the kindness business. I send greeting cards. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests, let me ask you a question. Has your mother ever told you to say thank you?
Yes.
Is she the kind of mom that would nudge you when you were out to dinner and a stranger gave you a compliment and she'd say, "Did you say thank you?" Did she tell you to send your grandma a thank you card when you got your $5 bill in your greeting card for Christmas? Or Aunt Tilly a thank you note when she sent you your graduation gift? I had a mom like that, but I really didn't listen to her very strongly. At least not until I got into business. And it was my mentor who drove home the power of saying thank you. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the direct sales business, and I had just finished hosting my very first home party jewelry show. I came home and I was waiting to tell my mentor about how much jewelry I sold and how excited I was, but the only question she asked me was, "Deborah," my mentor always called me Deborah, "did you send a thank you card?" I thought and said, "Well, no." I put a Post-it note on her mirror that said, "Thank you for your jewelry show." She said, "Deborah, let me ask you a question. How many phone calls do you get a day?" I thought and said, "Well, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. She said, "How many emails do you get a day?" "Oh, I get 20 or 30 emails a day." She said, "How many greeting cards did you get in the mail this week?" I thought, My mentor was quite brilliant when it came to driving home a point. It had dawned on me at that moment, well, if I wasn't getting greeting cards in the mail, neither were my customers. So how cool was I going to be if I sent greeting cards? And I started it that day. And I put at the bottom of each greeting card as I sent it to every woman who hosted a home party jewelry show for me, "I hope your jewelry sparkles half as much as you do." I booked a lot of home party jewelry shows because I was the only one that said thank you with a card that arrived in the mail. Now that was the beginning of my card sending career, but it got more intense when I decided to build a network. And those of you who know about building a network know how important it is to fill it with quality people. So I went on to study Mr. Harvey Mackay. And I read his book, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And the thing that stood out to me in that book was a little secret that Harvey told about how rich people teach their kids. Well, my ears perked up because anybody who knows me knows I want to be rich. So I wanted to find out what the rich people were doing. And you know what the secret was? The rich people teach their children to collect addresses. Not emails, but addresses. Why? Because when they're out networking and they meet the lawyer, the father says, "Get the lawyer's address. He's going to help you get into college." Get the doctor's address. Send him a thank you card. He's going to help you get into medical school. Well, another light bulb went off. My family wasn't rich. They didn't tell me to collect addresses. But guess what I started doing that very moment? I started collecting addresses. I also learned that you only need about 300 because anything more than that is fluff. You only have about 300 people in your circle of influence. So that became my number. Now fast forward, I went to the Chamber of Commerce IRMO meeting the other day. And the author of the book, Green Beans and Ice Cream, gave a fabulous presentation about recognition. How important is recognition? He showed a slide. And in the slide, he showed the brain, as it is normally. He showed how the brain lit up when it was given money. And then in the third film, it showed the brain when it received recognition. Guess what? There was no difference between the brain with money and the brain with recognition. Greeting cards are the method of acknowledging people. I love you, I appreciate you, thank you, you make me feel good. So how do I make people remember? Well, one of my neat little tools is to create photos of events that are very, very important to them. This happens to be the memories of my nephew's wedding. Huge, huge impact. Another way I like to be remembered is I like to get people's special events captured in a greeting card. This is when my friend had a baby. Guess when was the first time he saw his child's picture in a greeting card? It's when I sent it. That card will sit on his desk until that child graduates from college, or till she gets married, or whatever comes first. This is my dream card. This is the card where I write my visions and my dreams for myself inside a greeting card. It's like a vision board. The stories of your mind become the stories of your life. But my favorite card comes with a box of brownies. Now, I don't know how many of you men have ever had a disagreement with your wife. Well, you have two options of getting out of the doghouse. You can go to the store and pick up a dozen roses, which is going to cost you about $50, or you can get online, grab a card with already the writing in it, add it to a 2-pack of brownies, and send it off. And I trust you, when that card shows up in the mail, you will be out of the doghouse. So seriously, I started this speech by telling you that I make people cry for a living. Well, let me tell you how I make a grown man cry. I send him a card with a 2-pack of brownies, and then I call him and say, Charles, don't eat the brownies.